Building a crypto exchange shouldn't take months or cost millions. Let's talk about what it actually takes to build an exchange the traditional way. You need a full development team, months of backend and front-end work, audits, infrastructure, risk engines, matching engines, and the list goes on and on. Before you even launch, you're easily looking at over $1 million in costs. That's just to get started. After that, you're stuck with huge monthly expenses, paying developers to maintain the system, market makers to keep liquidity alive, and engineers to constantly fix issues and scale performance. For most creators, projects, or communities, building exchanges has always been out of reach. That's exactly why we built Orderly One. Orderly One lets anyone launch a fully decentralized perpetual exchange just in a few minutes with zero code. No dev team, no infrastructure headaches, no multi-million-dollar upfront costs. You can start building and go live from as little as $750 and immediately begin to generate fees from your trading volume. You're not renting attention. You're not relying on sponsorships. You own a on-chain financial platform. Here's where it gets even more powerful. Orderly One has volume-based and stake-based fee structure. By staking order or hitting a certain monthly volume milestone, you can lower the fees that Orderly One charge. This means higher margins, more competitive fees for your traders, and a strong incentive to scale your volume. The more you grow, the more efficient your exchange becomes. So let's get to the building part. First of all, we want to go to building our DEX, and then this is the section where you need to put in your distributor code if you have one. I don't have one for now, so let's just say skip. And then right after that, we want to head out and put our DEX name in. We're going to name it Le Otter. For the branding aspect, we're just going to drag and drop our logos in there. You'll see primary logo. So primary logo is going to be the main logo that's going to be displayed on your actual DEX itself. Paste it in there. You can drag and drop, like you can play around with these. So you'll see there's two other options called secondary logo and favcoin. So the favcoin is going to be the logo that's going to be displayed on your tab when you have your tabs open. So we're going to just paste that in there. And then I have a secondary logo here that we can use as well. And then we head out to next. We go to the customization tab. On the customization tab, you'll see there's a desktop version and a mobile version for preview. For this case, we're going to jump into desktop. This is where it gets quite cool. Here you can see the logo. Here you can see the logo that we just imported. Quite cool. And yeah, for this part, we have a bunch of new things that's been added recently, like presets. Presets going to give you a bunch of different options from the get-go. So you'll see there's like 5 presets. Number one is going to be our basic one that comes with all the DEXs already pre-made, and then from there you can just chop and change it. But the cool thing is you can go ahead in themes and you can actually go and pick your colors and so on. But I'm going to show you a better way to pick your themes even easier, even more precisely. And then obviously we have our AI part. So the AI part, you can describe what your DEX want to look like. Let's do a light blue and pink. We generate that, and it's going to give us a few different options. So here you can see here's the old version. There's the newer version, like option 1 from the new version. And you'll see here's the like pink and blue style colors. Let's check option 2. Yeah, option 2 is a little bit different. And then option 3 also looks more or less different. But let's just pick option 1 for this case, accept theme. And then here's where it gets quite cool. You can now go ahead and change every single aspect or every color of the whole deck. So let's say you want to make buy red and sell green, I don't know, whatever you want. For this case, for Mac users, we're going to hit command and then tap on the specific place where you want to go. And for Windows users, you can just hold control. But in this case, I'm using a Mac, so we can go and click command. Let's click on buy. You'll see here's the colors, right? So you can go ahead and edit those colors. For this case, let's make it purple. Obviously, buy purple. That's the whole theme of the DEX. Let's just select that. We say save, and there we go. Now we have a purple buy option. You can click exit. Now we can go into sell. Once again, command. Let's click that colors. Now we can go and edit those to our liking. And let's make the sell. I like the red, but let's make it like intense red, right? We save that. Now that's like more of a intense red and a whatever. So yeah, I mean, it's super simple. It's super easy. Like there's so many things you can change with it. Even like text. So let's go down here. And let's play around with this text color and edit it. And we can actually go ahead and make it, I don't know, something easier on the eyes. I think that's great. Let's go ahead with like a baby blue. Click save. Now, all the text would be like a baby blue color. Not everyone's cup of tea, but just for the experiment showcase. And after you finish that, you can now go ahead and close that up and continue to the next one. So the P&L posters, that's where your traders are going to go onto, and they can select your posters that you already uploaded and add their P&L scores or whatnot and post it to X or whichever social platform. So for this case, let's go add the first poster. Just apply that. Then we can go ahead and add another poster. And this one would be a sky high, go to the moon sort of P&L poster. You can add as many posters as you want, up until 8. So you see I already have 2 here. And let's go next. So this is the social media links. Social media links is pretty easy, pretty basic, straightforward. I'll just copy my links and paste them in. And then SEO configuration, that's going to be where you're going to help guide the internet where to find your DEX. So obviously your DEX name is going to be Lot Otter in my case. DEX subscription, you can just do whatever you want here, but just keep in mind this will help your SEOs. And then we get to the keywords. So here we can just say DEX, and then you separate everything with a comma. And then you'll get to your analysis configuration. So for this case, for the setup, we're going to leave that out. And this is the rewind configuration. You just fill in everything. I don't have that with me right now. And then your Perby configuration. Just hit next. And the blockchain configuration is where you're going to select the specific chains you want your DEX at the end of the day to run on, right? For people to deposit and so on. So for this case, I'm just going to select everything. Sweet. So we have all the blockchains selected. And then asset filtering is also quite a new thing. We didn't have this when we came out with Audley one, if I'm not mistaken. So you can now go ahead and like add specific tokens that you want to list. Let's say you had like the Bitcoin DEX only, you can only go to like BTC, or let's say you want to only do like real world assets, you can do that as well. But for this case, let's just select everything. And then obviously language support, just hit English, Chinese, whatever you want. And then the navigation menu is where you're going to be able to just add everything that's going to be on the top of the bar if you look on the DEX. So for this, we're going to go head into trading, portfolio, and markets. That's obviously going to be the default ones. And then leaderboard is going to be like showcasing the top wallets on the specific DEX. We have the swap function. That's pretty good as well. That's going to let users swap assets within your own DEX. That's pretty cool. We have your rewards option, and then the vault option. That is a vault product built by Audley, where we have a bunch of different vaults inside of it. So for your users to go and invest into a specific vault if they want to when they park their money. And then a new feature that we just released is the points. So the point system, you're now able to create your own trading campaigns and reward users for trading and so on. So that's also quite a cool feature that we just added. And we can just say next. And then obviously your service disclaimer, just select that. And then the service restrictions. So this is pretty interesting. You can now go ahead and block specific regions from accessing your actual exchange, but we're just going to leave that out. And then as simple as that, we filled in everything, and now we can just go ahead and create your DEX and then give that a minute or two to just quickly load up, and then it should pop up right away. Okay, sweet. So our DEX has successfully been created. We can now go ahead and click on the DEX link. And there we go. There is your fully functioning DEX. And now all that's left to do is go to graduation, pay the $750 in order tokens, and your DEX is live, ready to be traded on with generating some fees. So if you've ever wanted to launch your own exchange, monetize your own community, or launch your own on-chain financial platform, Audley One makes it possible. Go check out the link down below where you can start building. Start building today and own the platform.